Are you looking for short-term inpatient rehabilitation or long-term care placement for yourself or a loved one after illness or injury? Whitehall Boca Raton Skilled Nursing and Rehab Facility has served South Florida for over 35 years. With care and oversight from our experienced physicians, Whitehall Boca Raton offers specialized comprehensive nursing and rehab programs in neurological, orthopedic, cardiac, pulmonary, and post-operative surgical care and outpatient therapy provided by our highly experienced nurses and therapists. We also offer functional vision therapy, lymphedema rehab, therapeutic recreational activities, and social services for special needs. While recovering, you will receive 24-hour licensed nursing care along with dietary and nutrition services. We accept Medicare and other major insurances. Come see the Whitehall Boca Raton difference. Call 561-392-3000 for more information or to schedule a tour with our admissions team, and we will answer any one of your questions. You can also visit our website at whitehallboca.com. For more information, call 561-392-3000. That's 561-392-3000. Whitehall Boca Raton is committed to provide you with the best medical care.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Do you have a hot new business or an established business that offers great and unique services or products that you want to get the word out? Are you looking to grow your business and you want everyone to hear the buzz about it? Do you have an amazing project or an idea that impacts our community that you want to share and get others involved in? Then you've come to the right place. You're listening to Community Connections with Norma G. I'm your host, occupational therapist Norma Guerrero, and I want to share our passions while connecting with our community. So now let's get ready to hear about what's hot, what's new, and what's happening on Community Connections with Norma G. Give us a call at 888-565-1470 and join our conversation. Smile. Just make sure you smile. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to Community Connections with Norma G. It is Monday, and we are super excited to be here, March 27th, and I have Sergio in the house with me. Here, let me move that microphone, Sergio, so I don't block out your smile.
Well, it's probably better than me, but, hey, what are you going to do?
How are you?
I'm great.
Good. And Sergio has been a great supporter of the show, and he works with Whitehall, and he's been, out there in the community and getting involved and meeting people. And between myself and him, we've been, working on getting a lot of different variety of guests in here to provide a show that is filled with inspiration, some education, some knowledge, and also hopefully a little bit of fun in between. So we've been doing this for a couple months now.
Yeah, a couple months in. We've kind of been learning. Yeah. Figuring out what's entertaining, what's fun to listen to, what's educational, inviting, warm, human, what's not.
Right.
Where to sit, make better.
Right, and so as I've been thinking about the show and how I want to continue to develop it and ground it, I wanted to kind of, focus on obviously community. And focus on, finding stories that are in the community that haven't been, talked about, haven't been spoken about. And so I'm on a personal search to find those stories and to highlight them, coupled with if that's a, someone's business or something like that. But that I don't want to make that the primary focus. That's going to be bonus on top of that, because I really want to reach out and dig into the community and find out which either personal stories or business owner stories or medical stories, whatever it is, I just want to find it. And so that's what I personally want to do. You're listening to Community Connections with Norma G on 95.3 FM. You can tune in if you jump in your car. You can watch us live on Facebook at Community Connections with Norma G. Also on 1470 WNN on your iHeart app, as well as you can find us on Twitter, Periscope, Instagram. So we're a little bit everywhere, and we want to be able to have a lot of opportunities to access these social media platforms.
Well, if I may, on your jumping in here, I think one of the things you kind of are highlighting is kind of what's kind of going on generally with everybody. I don't know if many people are paying attention, but there's some stuff going on. We have this weird, crazy election, and there's all these other things going on. And basically what I'm hearing is that these types of things you are spreading and shining light on positive things in the world,
That's
positive people functioning under this other stuff going on around us, and we're, day in and day out, the positive things people are doing, which is something we need. More love in the world.
That's right.
At the risk of sounding cheesy, that's what it boils down to, love.
Well, when I took some time to think about it and, read up a little bit, performing community service is a worthy endeavor that brings people and communities closer together and improves the wellness of those volunteering their time and effort.
Yes.
And when we think about health, the medical field, or a lot of people are promoting health and wellness, which is, through food and through exercise. But here, what we're saying is that by serving others, by getting out there and engaging in your community, you actually are promoting a wellness inside of you
Yes.
that is separate from, actually food and exercise.
Yes.
But it's kind of part of the whole picture. And that's kind of the wellness that I want to be focusing on here in the show. And so I'm going to give you two pieces of information right now because we have a caller on the phone, which I'm super excited to talk to her today. Starting with, if you're looking for something in your community of, how to volunteer, where can I volunteer? I figured let's start at the top. Let's start, we live in the United States. There's USA.gov. That's USA.gov. And then from there, that will lead you to serve.gov. And then when you get to those websites, you can then type in your zip code. Because there are organizations in your local community, as well as here in Broward County, Dade County, Palm Beach County, where we live, that have posted to those sites that are seeking volunteers in our community. So if you don't have a specific area of interest or you can't identify specifically what it is, maybe these websites can let you know what's needed and you can go and serve in those areas. So I just wanted to give that little tidbit, USA.gov and serve.gov. So we have 3 guests on the show today. We have one calling in and then 2 here in the studio. The first one calling in is going to be Miss Tamra. Oh gosh, I didn't use the pronunciation.
Bad you.
So is our caller on the phone so she can? Tamra, can you hear me?
Yes. Hey, Norma. How are you?
I'm good. Were you able to hear before you got in or no?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Listening.
Great. And so I didn't, formally introduce you, and I didn't even try to fumble up your name. So you're Tamra
Ksiazek.
Ksiazek.
Angels.
See, I should have asked you that on the phone. And so Tamra, do you remember meeting Sergio when you were here a few weeks ago?
Absolutely. Hi, Sergio.
Hey, how are you doing? Good to hear from you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you so much for calling in. And I reached out to Tamra because she was on the show a few weeks ago. She is the Director of Public Relations for an organization called Consturction Angels, and they do amazing work, fundraising for families who have experienced a fatality from a construction job fatality. So Tamara's going to talk us a little bit about that and also give us a little update on what they've been doing, because I know you were in Vegas recently. Is that correct?
Yes.
And also they have a big event coming up. So Tamara, tell us again a little bit about what Consturction Angels is and how it's serving our community.
Sure, absolutely. So Consturction Angels, it's a national organization that's based in Florida and originated in Florida. And it's a 501c3 charity. And it was created to provide immediate financial assistance and grief counseling to the families of construction workers who have unfortunately lost their lives on the job site. So when you first hear about it, you kind of think to yourself, really, how common is that? It's actually more common than you think. Approximately 13 workers die every day in the United States due to construction-related accidents on the job. So it's a lot. Christy Broniak is our executive director.
That's right.
She founded the company back in 2011. And she's a third-generation contractor from a family of contractors. So she's been in the construction business for a long time. And she was seeing a lot of these fatalities, and it kind of prompted her to start the charity. So basically what we do, when I say immediate financial assistance, as soon as we hear from within the construction community about someone who lost their life on the job, we reach out to the family and within 2 weeks get them a check to help them, pay their mortgage, pay car payments, pay for food, because a lot of times life insurance and other things that come in take a while. So we step in immediately to help them. So it really does benefit the families.
Now, does when you step in, and this is a question, you said like life insurance steps in or any type of other benefit, does the family obligated to refund what you've put out up front, or is this completely charitous on your organization's dime?
It's completely charitable. We never ask for anything back. What does happen though, a lot of down the road, a lot of families want to give back, so sometimes they'll make a donation. Not it's not required, but a lot of people end up giving us something in the future or as an ongoing gift, just support the organization because they believe in it. So,
well, because you touch their heart, and so they feel that they want to overwhelmingly give back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, the community, the construction community is pretty tight. So we try to take care of our own if we can. So it's a good thing. So like you were saying, giving back is really important. And that's really the motivation for Christy and the organization is to give back to the people in the construction community that are working hard and unfortunately because of an accident lose their life. So we have been very busy for the last couple of months. As Norma said, we were in Vegas.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that since you
what
were here
happens in
about
Vegas
a month.
stays in Vegas.
Can you share anything?
Well,
You allowed to share anything?
why don't we just stick to what happened at the convention?
Okay, yeah.
There we go.
Sure, the daytime.
Anyway, it was a lot of fun. We started at the National Utilities Contractors Association, or better known as UCA, and we had a booth at their national convention. And basically, we were just we have a national organization, so we're trying to reach a lot of the bigger companies so that they can start a national sponsorship for us. So we met with a lot of different companies, and we're getting the support of a lot of the bigger companies throughout the nation. That's good. Then we also stayed on for a few days for one of the largest the largest construction expo in the world. It's called Con Expo, and it was really, really exciting to be there because it's the biggest convention I've ever seen.
Wow.
Screens everywhere for 2 blocks, and then they had 3 convention halls filled with people. So it was really, really amazing what we got to see. So
And if I recall, you are currently in 4 states right now?
yes, we started in Florida. We're also in Georgia, Ohio, and in Michigan.
Which state do you see as having now? Are you seeing it based on population where you see more accidents? Because I know if you drive anywhere in South Florida, there's someone building something somewhere. I think everywhere I go, I see an upcoming apartment complex or building. So of those 4 that you are in, are you seeing any trends in terms of more like OSHA practices where there's not as much oversight as there is somewhere else? Does that affect how many people are being affected on the work site?
Honestly, I'm not really exactly sure totally about the trends, but I know that I get the emails talking about the fatalities, and it seems like there are more fatalities in Florida, but I think it's just because of the sheer volume of construction that's going on down here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I can't speak specifically to Michigan, Ohio, and Georgia, but we have much stricter laws in Florida than other states. I know when we were at the convention, a lot of people came by and said that the Nevada laws are very loose and that they have a lot of fatalities out there because the laws aren't as strict in the state of Nevada for whatever reason. And they also have a ton of growth in construction going on right now. So just so you have an idea, when we do take in money, any money that comes in the state of Florida stays in the state of Florida. So we have our national campaign is kind of separate, and so I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. We are keep things within the community that it comes from.
So speaking of Florida, I know that there's an event coming up on April 15th on Tax Day.
Yes.
So tell me
We're
a little bit
very
about that
excited
event.
about that.
It is the Alligator, what do we call this thing?
Alligator Run.
Alligator Run's
Wing
third
Fest.
annual Wing Fest, Saturday, April 15th at the Bergeron Rodeo Grounds. Tell me about what that event's going to be like so that people can have a little fun and support your cause.
Yes, it's basically a community event, trying to raise awareness about our organization. It's a fundraiser for our organization, and you can come down and listen to some great live music all day from 11 to 5. Try some of the best wings in South Florida. It's very kid-friendly. Bring, the whole family. It's only $15 in advance to get the tickets, and you can go on wingsfest.org or constructionangels.us to get the tickets. And you can even call us if you want. We are still looking for sponsors. You can get an exhibit booth for $500, and it's a great way for any type of company to introduce themselves to the general community. So we get a lot of people there. I wish I knew how many numbers there were, but I volunteer at the event every year, and there were a lot of people there last year.
There was a lot of people. I know I'm going to go this year. I think Sergio lives that way.
I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go as well.
It's in Davie, right?
Yes, it's in Davie at the Bergeron Rodeo Grounds. So if you want, it's $15 in advance for general admission. You get VIP tickets for $50, and you'll get free food and free drinks all day. And
but see, the Wing Fest is actually it's a battle of wings and sauces, I believe, between the local restaurants, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. There's two.
Yum.
Yeah, so that
sounds yummy right there.
It sounds like it's going to be one of those kind of cook-offs.
It's delicious. So, yes, what you do is you go through and, they have very inexpensive prices for the wings. You go through and you purchase the wings that you want, try whatever you want, and they give you chips. And you vote for the best wing sauce and the best overall chicken wing. And, oh, my goodness.
And all the proceeds go to
good.
Support Construction Angels.
In case you hate chicken wings, there's a lot more than just chicken wings there. We have so many food vendors, it's not even funny. So
Right. That's just the main event.
Raffle prizes. So if anybody wants to donate raffle prizes, gift cards, anything like that, I'll give you guys a phone number. You can call for more information about sponsoring a booth or donating raffle prizes. You can call 754-300-7220. That's our main number, and we will get back with you right away if we don't answer. So,
and what's the website if somebody wanted to look up Construction Angels?
It's constructionangels.us.
Constructionangels.us. And also on my Facebook page, Community Connections with Norma G, I've posted the event to Alligator Ron's 3rd Annual Wing Fest, and you can find information about Tamra and Construction Angels, so it's easy to find. I have some posts up there.
Whatever you posted made it look really fun.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like it's going to be fun. I mean, there's
fun.
Also going to be a lot of rock and roll and some country bands, and it just sounds like a great little hoedown.
Yes.
It is. It's really fun.
It's really described as a hoedown. She described it as a hoedown. I'm sorry.
No, be nice. Be nice. Okay.
Call it a hoedown.
What?
A hoedown. We're having a chicken wing hoedown.
That's right. So when I come down next week or the following week, I will bring you guys the tickets.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh, thank you.
That's so sweet.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going to keep, I'm trying to get a bunch of friends to go as well, just because I think it would just be a great event that's during the day, because it's in the daytime hours. It just kind of, it's a little bit, and it's also something different to do, to be on a rodeo ground. So it's a little more casual. So it's a little different than your regular event that's at night when you're all dressed up in your heels and stuff. So I'm looking forward to that type of day.
Yes, it will definitely be fun. I promise you that. So
awesome.
I will be there.
Tamra, I can't thank you enough for sharing about Construction Angels. It's such a fascinating story how this all connected with a friend of mine handing me a business card of someone that she saw in a restaurant with a little angel on her shirt and asking her what's that about. And here we are kind of, being able to share about all this. So I love how that happens.
And thank you for all that you're doing.
And I will be talking to you guys over the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Great. Absolutely. You have a great day and talk to you soon, Tamra.
All right. You too. Bye, Sergio.
Take care. Bye-bye. We're going to take a little bit of break. We're going to have Phil McKnight from Laser IQ Pain Therapies. And this is
neat.
Yes, this is a pretty interesting laser treatment that is used for pain management, and it's non-invasive.
No.
And we're going to find out all about that. And then we're going to have Jemely, how do you say her last name?
Jemely
Capalaran.
I'm going to let you butcher it.
Jemely Capalaran, and she is a registered nurse, and she's the nurse educator over at Whitehall, and she's going to talk about infection prevention in the community. So we got a couple more guests coming out. We're going to go to commercial. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for short-term inpatient rehabilitation or long-term care placement for yourself or a loved one after illness or injury? Whitehall Boca Raton Skilled Nursing and Rehab Facility has served South Florida for over 35 years. With care and oversight from our experienced physicians, Whitehall Boca Raton offers specialized comprehensive nursing and rehab programs in neurological, orthopedic, cardiac, pulmonary, and post-operative surgical care, and outpatient therapy provided by our highly experienced nurses and therapists. We accept Medicare and other major insurances. Come see the Whitehall Boca Raton difference. Call 561-392-3000 for more information or to schedule a tour with our admissions team, and we will answer any one of your questions. You can also visit our website at whitehallboca.com. For more information, call 561-392-3000. That's 561-392-3000. Whitehall Boca Raton is committed to provide you with the best medical care.
In this day and age of social media, did you know that using live radio, internet, TV, and all the latest social media platforms can help grow your business, allowing you to more personally connect with your clients? Community Connections with Norma G invites you to be a guest on our live radio, TV, internet show. Being personally interviewed and airing pre-recorded commercials across our network will make your business selling points more powerful, make it easier for your clients to find you, and drive more traffic to your website. You can choose from a variety of radio, internet, TV packages, including live guest spots, on-air advertisement, pre-recorded commercials, and social media promotion across multiple platforms. Show airs locally on FM and AM radio in Florida, nationally on iHeartRadio, and internationally via Facebook Live and Periscope. Let Community Connections with Norma G increase your social media presence and exposure. Give us a call today to schedule your spot at 954-802-2015. That's 954-802-2015. Email me at ccnormag@gmail.com for more information, or visit me at Community Connections with Norma G on Facebook. Let's share our passions while connecting with our community. Thank you for listening to Community Connections with Norma G. We're the place where we talk about your business, a product, an idea, or a project to get the word out to our community. I'm your host, occupational therapist Norma Guerrero. Today we are sharing our passions while connecting with our community. Give us a call at 888-565-1470 and join our conversation. Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 5 to 6 p.m. to join me, Norma G, and our guests to find out about what's hot, what's new, and what's happening in our community. Can't wait to see you there. Now let's rejoin the show. A little bit of attention. Welcome back to Community Connections with Norma G. You are listening to 95.3 FM. You can catch us live at Community Connections with Norma G on Facebook if you want to watch us. You can also find us at 1470 AM on your dial or at 1470 WNN on your iHeart app. And we're going to continue with our show with the Mr. Phil McKnight, and he is the CEO of Laser IQ Pain Therapy. And it's a very, very interesting non-invasive pain management treatment that is kind of homeopathic and some, or naturopathic. And so, Phil, I wanted to say thank you for coming in, and I'm excited to learn a little bit about this because as an occupational therapist, as a facility, Whitehall, that treats a lot of people for pain, it's interesting to hear about this because once our patients leave the hospital, this may be something that they may benefit from down the road post-surgically.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about you and your business and where it's located and all that.
Okay. Norma, first of all, thanks for having me. And we're located in Boca Raton. Our corporate headquarters is in Tampa, Florida, but the treatment center is in Boca Raton. We've been there. It's right behind City Hall in Boca on Crawford Boulevard, which is one block west of Boca Raton Boulevard. But we've been there about a year and a half now. The practice specializes in laser pain therapy, and laser pain therapy is a fairly new wave method of pain management. You know, it's a very different alternative to the traditional methods and modalities of pain management, which are everything from very strong medications, opiates, which are basically almost an epidemic today, to injections, to nerve blocks, to surgeries, and very invasive things that have quite honestly very bad side effects and generally only work for a while. Laser pain therapy is quite different. I'm not a physician. I have physicians that work for me, all licensed physicians that diagnose the patients and do the treatments. But I'm a computer scientist by trade, so I understand technology. I did the first commercial electronic mail network in the world.
The first what was it?
Commercial electronic mail network in the world. I did Florida's first internet service provider service, something called Cybergate. So I've always been, very, 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 into, the latest technology available.
Forward thinking and progression.
And I think with pain management, what you'll hear about laser pain therapy, it's the first major breakthrough in pain management in over 50 years. That's a long time not to introduce something, given, that, a lot of folks, particularly the elderly.
It's like landing on the moon
are in a lot of pain.
that long ago.
How did you get involved in becoming, owner of this type of business? Is there just something that is something in the family or something yourself?
Well, that's a sore point, literally, in that I had hip replacement surgery a couple of years ago, and the replacement surgery went extremely well. I was up and walking in a few hours, and actually I had a physical therapist who came in literally the minute I got out of recovery and got into my room and used a very low-level handheld laser on my hip, and quite honestly, I never had a minute's pain ever, but that's not how I got into this. I did so well, I unfortunately had a dislocation of the hip, the new hip. And I got, obviously, I was sitting down having dinner in a restaurant, and an ambulance came and took me to the nearest hospital, which was not a trauma center. And
How soon after the surgery did you dislocate?
a couple weeks.
Oh, so that recent.
Couple weeks. Okay. And bottom line is they admitted me into a room because the particular hospital was not a trauma center. They couldn't, administer the anesthesiology, so the physician couldn't relocate the hip. So they put me in a room. A nurse comes in and decides she's going to, what do they call it? Log roll me in the sheets.
Log roll you, yeah. So I think that was the word we came up with earlier.
And I quite honestly, I looked at her. I said, "You've got to be kidding! My hip is dislocated. How are you going to do that?" Mm-hmm. And they said, "No, this is hospital policy." I said, "Well, I don't care. You're not going to touch me." And got into a rather heated argument about all this. Bottom line is they did it, and it 100% severed my sciatic nerve. In my right leg. I'm basically paralyzed from the knee down. Took me 4 months of physical therapy.
From rolling you.
Just from rolling.
It was a roll, right.
That's an unusual circumstance.
Imagine the bone. I mean, your hip is, the bone is just dangling, and it caught the nerve and severed it, and that was it. Anyway, so I went through 8 months, when your nerve is severed, I mean, it's very painful. A lot of, the burning things associated with neuropathy. You can't lift your foot, so it's something called drop foot, and it goes on and on and on. But I probably went to a dozen different physicians trying to find some treatment that could get me out of pain, but more importantly, deal with the edema, the swelling that was associated with this. And I found a physician who specialized in what's called physical medicine. They're the ones that ran the nerve test, determined that the nerve was 100% severed. And he said, there's nothing I could do other than perhaps a nerve block to get you out of pain. He said, the swelling, he said, I suspect that's because the nerves are not allowing the capillaries to fire correctly, therefore, the fluids are building up in the leg. He said, I would like to try a new laser that I just brought into our practice. He takes me in a room and
he zaps you?
He zapped me. It's pretty intimidating. Pretty cool. I mean, it's a huge robotic laser. I mean, it's
right.
It's FDA approved, but it's licensed by the Florida State Department of Health. It's considered a radiology device.
That's really neat.
About 3 hours later, and this is after 8 months, the swelling started to go down, and sure enough, the pain began to subside, and it was just an amazing, remarkable thing. So you can imagine, after all I went through, I started, doing a lot of research in this area. I'm a computer scientist. I'm, very technology savvy. And the more research I did, the more I said, this is something that I think, really needs to be brought into the market.
The mainstream.
Because, the other alternatives to pain management are not good.
Correct.
And this is completely non-invasive. I mean, there's no incision. It's considered a class 4 cold laser, which means you feel nothing.
Yeah.
You feel no heat. And it has no known side effects whatsoever.
Except for you did mention a few things that were maybe some contraindications.
Well, there are a couple things. We cannot treat a patient who's had chemotherapy within the past 30 days. We cannot treat a patient who has had, an injection within the past week. We can't treat a patient within 8 inches of a pacemaker. So there are
Right.
a few things that would not allow us to treat a patient.
Those are important to note. So you had a personal experience that has propelled you into now your own business,
Correct.
where you are providing these services. As a therapist that does evaluations on patients that are 2-3 days post-operative, no matter what the condition is. Well, if we're talking about primarily like orthopedic conditions, like the shoulder or the knee or the hip, all of those reports, if it's an elective surgery, all say failed conservative measures. So I believe that the doctors don't necessarily want, they get a bad rap with saying they're just all knife happy, they just want to cut you. But I also believe, I've met many doctors that say, no, it's the last thing I want to do, if possible, is to go in and put somebody under anesthesia. And so you're offering, through this laser therapy, one of those conservative measures, and you got results from it.
Yeah,
So that's awesome.
When you experience it personally, you can become very evangelical about
Yeah,
something
I was gonna
like
say,
this.
like
proselytizing
You do
about
take
it.
it very
It's
personally.
like the former smoker, now non-smoker.
So I had a lot of motivation, a lot of incentive to get into the
But that's the
business.
best owner,
Well,
sometimes.
in my case, absolutely.
because you believe in it.
But this particular type of laser technology, it's in use by a couple thousand physicians all across the country. There's one orthopedic surgeon in Detroit, Michigan. He specializes in sports medicine. And, he, by the way, if you go to our website, which is www.laseriqpaintherapy.com, there's a gallery, there's videos there, and you'll see this particular doctor talking about how it works. You'll see patients being treated. It basically tells...
You brought one, right, with you? We
Well,
brought a mobile
I brought
one?
a self-treatment device I'll get to in a second, but this physician treated 1,100 patients, pre- and post-surgical. He's an orthopedic surgeon. And the reason he introduced it to his practice is it greatly speeds up recovery time from surgeries, and also allows them to better manage the pain associated with the surgery without strong medications and things of this sort.
And is this laser, the waves that come out, is this any form of radiation?
It is a form of radiation. There are many types of lasers. There's lasers that can cut through steel. There's lasers that use a pointer when you're doing a presentation. There's lasers you use for weaponry. There's lasers you use for cosmetic procedures on your face. There's lasers you use for corrective eye surgery. All of there are literally thousands of types of lasers out there for different applications and different things. But in the healthcare field, pain management, they use specific wavelengths. This particular technology is what's called multi-wave laser technology. There's one wavelength that's programmed for soft tissue. There's a second wavelength that's programmed for the skeletal tissue, the harder tissue. And, that allows you to, treat, the entire, area that's affected. And, of course, our lasers happen to be robotic. And so they're programmable. Someone asked me, what does laser IQ stand for? IQ stands for intelligence. It's an intelligent laser. Everything we treat is pre-programmed in the laser, so you always get the right dosage and the right wavelengths used, for the treatment and the right timing and so forth. So, it's very, very advanced technology.
Do you need a prescription, or can we just walk in or call your office for an appointment or consultation?
Like any traditional medical practice, you have to call, you have to come in for an initial consultation. We use licensed physicians. They're all licensed in the state of Florida, even to do the treatments. We could use physical therapists or even assistant physical therapists. We've chosen to only use physicians just because, these are largely elderly people. They get attached to their physician, and you have to keep that in mind a bit. So it's a bit more costly for us, but we really think it's probably, in the best interest of the patient. But they do an initial consultation. The physician determines, what type of treatment. Will map out a treatment protocol, the number of treatments that are required, and then we allow, even on the first initial consultation, enough time where we could do the first treatment for a patient.
Wow, that's incredible. And typically a treatment protocol is usually roughly how many visits?
5 to 10.
5 to 10?
It depends on how chronic, how entrenched it is, and of course what we're treating. Now, what does this treat? It treats 50% of our patients have some type of back pain. Surprise, surprise. spinal stenosis is probably the number one issue that we deal with. Sciatica, herniated disc, bulging disc, even arthritis in the spine. The other things that we treat are any type of joint pain, be it from bone on bone, arthritis, or any other issue relative to the joint. So everything from ankles to knees to hips to shoulders, elbows, wrists. Tennis elbows a big thing.
When I was there, I looked at some of the things. They have like these mitts you can put on for hands. They have little things for your mouth for periodontal disease.
What we have talked
Yeah,
It's amazing.
tell me a little bit what you got. We have a few more minutes here.
What we've talked about, and I'll turn it on just for a second.
Show it into the camera.
Okay, I'll turn it on just for a
You
second.
can lift it. You can lift it
so
up.
you can see it.
One of the things I found
Okay.
really neat about this is that
And what is that?
Okay, so this is whereas when you come into the treatment center, we use our large, powerful
Right.
robotic lasers. They're licensed by the Florida State Department of Health. I mean, it is a radiology device, but this is an in-home self-treatment device that our patients, a lot of our patients, the condition is so chronic that they can't get in often enough, to really help us. What we specifically target is inflammation. If we can get the inflammation under control, we can get the pain under control. With the in-home self-treatment device, they can supplement, the treatments in the treatment center with this. We also have patients that are, let's say, that live in Miami, where commuting back and forth to Boca is just too much. And so they can purchase these devices. They're very inexpensive and they're very effective. And by the way, the exact same wavelengths as our large robotic lasers. The difference is, because this is 1,000 milliamp dosage or less, a consumer can use it. It is FDA clear, just like the other. But the bigger lasers are up to 25,000 milliamps. So obviously, a physician has to administer those dosages.
As you said earlier, one of the things I found really neat about this device and all the others is that it doesn't affect the skin. So if you do have someone at home, and can they hurt themselves by leaving it on too long? Can they?
Well, there's a recommended time, which is 20 minutes.
Okay.
So I suppose theoretically, when you come in the office and we're using the robotic laser, everything's pre-programmed, so it can't overdose, as you would say. With this, the recommended time is 20 minutes.
And you kind of coach them along?
Well, we have an extensive user manual that goes with it, and in bright red, please read this before turning on.
Do you just send them home with it, or someone goes and shows them how to use it at home?
When they come in the office and they purchase it at the treatment center, then the physician goes over how to use it, but we make sure they read it. Now, we have others that have actually called in and they've referred friends and family to us, and we can actually send these via FedEx to someone as well. In which case, we'll coach them over the phone.
Phil, tell us again the phone number to how someone can reach you, and also the website if they wanted to read up a little bit more about this beyond this
Our phone
talk
number,
today.
if you want to call to learn more or come in to see us, is 1-844-LASER-IQ. If you would like to go to our website is www.laserIQpaintherapy.com.
And I have to thank you because, as a clinician myself, that's been treating patients for a long, long time, I use modalities all the time, whether it's electrical stimulation, ultrasound, hot heat, ice, manual therapy, and so I'm constantly treating pain. So it's interesting to learn about this treatment modality. I'm happy about a few things. I'm happy that you've chosen to have physicians oversee the treatment and to monitor that because of the elderly population and the many, many comorbidities that they have. It is important that a physician, because if there's someone that's not as experienced dealing with that patient population, you can find yourself in a little bit of a tricky situation. So I was really, really happy to hear that. And I would feel comfortable, sending someone there knowing that a physician was there to oversee that. So thank you so much for coming and sharing about this very, very interesting technique because, like I said, sometimes patients can't handle the exercise because it's too painful.
Yeah.
And they're maybe not cleared for a surgical intervention. So this could be, an alternative and a solution to someone. And so, if you're suffering with pain, give them a call and perhaps you can, get some relief.
Yes.
Okay, Norma, well, thank you very much for
It's my pleasure.
inviting me, and it was great talking to you.
That's
and
awesome.
Again, give us a call.
And I'm going to try and
I'll be in touch with
go
you.
by Crawford Avenue and see if, because sometimes I get a little flare up myself in my neck.
I was actually talking to him about that earlier.
know,
I'm
so-
like, I might
No,
come by.
actually come by. I would love to show you the...
I would really, really like to. And so we're going to come back a little bit and talk to Jemely, the nurse over at Whitehall, about infection prevention. We'll be right back. In this day and age of social media, did you know that using live radio, internet, TV, and all the latest social media platforms can help grow your business, allowing you to more personally connect with your clients? Community Connections with Norma G invites you to be a guest on our live radio, TV, internet show. Being personally interviewed and airing pre-recorded commercials across our network will make your business selling points more powerful, make it easier for your clients to find you, and drive more traffic to your website. You can choose from a variety of radio, internet, TV packages, including live guest spots, on-air advertisement, pre-recorded commercials, and social media promotion across multiple platforms. Show airs locally on FM and AM radio in Florida, nationally on iHeartRadio, and internationally via Facebook Live and Periscope. Let Community Connections with Norma G increase your social media presence and exposure. Give us a call today to schedule your spot at 954-802-2015. That's 954-802-2015. Email me at ccnormag@gmail.com for more information, or visit me at Community Connections with Norma G on Facebook. Let's share our passions while connecting with our community.
Are you looking for short-term inpatient rehabilitation or long-term care placement for yourself or a loved one after illness or injury? Whitehall Boca Raton Skilled Nursing and Rehab Facility has served South Florida for over 35 years. With care and oversight from our experienced physicians, Whitehall Boca Raton offers specialized comprehensive nursing and rehab programs in neurological, orthopedic, cardiac, pulmonary, and post-operative surgical care and outpatient therapy provided by our highly experienced nurses and therapists. We accept Medicare and other major insurances. Come see the Whitehall Boca Raton difference. Call 561-392-3000 for more information or to schedule a tour with our admissions team, and we will answer any one of your questions. You can also visit our website at whitehallboca.com. For more information, call 561-392-3000. That's 561-392-3000. Whitehall Boca Raton is committed to provide you with the best medical care.
Thank you for listening to Community Connections with Norma G. We're the place where we talk about your business, a product, an idea, or a project to get the word out to our community. I'm your host, occupational therapist Norma Guerrero. Today we are sharing our passions while connecting with our community. Give us a call at 888-565-1470 and join our conversation. Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 5 to 6 p.m. to join me, Norma G, and our guests to find out about what's hot, what's new, and what's happening in our community. Can't wait to see you there. Now let's rejoin the show. Welcome back to Community Connections with Norma G. You're listening on 95.3 FM at 1470 AM and live on Facebook at Community Connections with Norma G. You can watch us. And we have the last segment of the show, and we have Miss, and I was playing with your I have a couple difficult last names today.
Yeah.
With Miss Jemely Capalaran.
Capalaran, yes.
Capalaran. And you're such a pretty young woman. Where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from New Jersey.
Really?
So, yes. I moved down here 3 years ago.
Really? But your background, your nationality?
I'm Filipino.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, no, I can see your complexion and all that. And so you're a nurse, and
Yes.
you work at Whitehall.
Yes, I do.
And so we work together.
I know.
And and so, but we kind of have a little bit of separate, jobs. So it's not like
Yeah.
we're, with each other every single day. So this is an opportunity for me to learn a little bit about your background,
Okay.
and a little bit about nursing in your role, because you are the nurse educator at Whitehall.
Yes, I am.
And so tell me a little bit about that role and how long you've been a nurse and where'd you go to nursing school and all that.
Okay, so I'm originally from Belleville, New Jersey. I went to college there in Wayne, New Jersey. I've been a nurse for almost 10 years, and I've been in long-term care for over 15 years. So before I became a nurse, I was working in the nursing home. I worked in the hospital for 3 years as unit clerk. So I've been around, the healthcare settings. When I moved here, I didn't know if I should go back to the hospital or should I just go back to long-term care. So luckily, Whitehall, I had an opportunity to join the team as a nurse educator. And what I do is I actually do all the competencies of the staff, the clinical staff and non-clinical. I do all the orientation in services, continuing education just to be compliant to the state. I also have a preceptor program, and I do the infection control program at Whitehall as well, according to, of course, the CDC guidelines.
And what does that mean, an infection program?
Well, we have an antibiotic stewardship program with it's in accordance with the medical directors, also with our U.S. laboratories. So we collaborate and make sure yes, we have a surveillance to see it, make sure that there's no let's just say if there's an infection with the resident who just came to the facility, that we monitor it and evaluate to see, make sure that they're on the right antibiotic and that it works.
And when did you come to Florida?
2015,
So-
February 2015.
And you were a nurse, and you graduated nursing school when?
2005, I believe.
Okay, so it's been about 10, 12 years.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
it's been a
so
long
you
time.
came here because I've been at Whitehall for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and for like 10 and a half years and stuff. And so I have seen you come onto the team, and I've seen you kind of take like a leadership role.
Yes.
And that's been nice for me to observe and witness, and to see you kind of take a little bit of leadership of, if you see a gap or you see a hole, then
Yeah.
you try and fill it, or you try and motivate. And so I like the vibe and the energy
And
that you
yes.
bring to the place. And so I wanted to personally thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And and also, you tend to kind of, people tend to come to you, if they have problems or anything like that. You tend to be kind of like the person, the go-to person on the
Kinda
floor
like,
and on the unit. So
Yes, I actually filled in as a unit manager at one point at Whitehall when we had a gap in unit management. Right now, we have a really good, strong management team. So we have a good resource. Our DON, ADON, they're very good at tackling any issues, any concerns that may arise.
when we were talking about, kind of what are we going to talk about today, you wrote back to me a little bit. How has becoming a nurse affected your life? And that was an interesting question.
Oh,
So,
yes.
How has it affected your life?
Well, you kind of see life in a different perspective when you're a nurse. So when I was in school, I actually was a physical therapy student before
Okay.
I became a nurse. So when I work in the hospital, it's kind of like a calling, like a true calling. It's like, oh, you know what? I felt like I would be a better nurse than a physical therapist, even though physical therapy is such a good career. But it's good to have that knowledge and background, because I realized that nursing and physical therapy, they work together. So
Oftentimes I wish I had the skills of a nurse, primarily to be able to pass medication, and also so I could get them down to the gym faster,
But
and
there-
then also to be able to administer it, to do an IV.
But there's more to it than just.
I know,
passing
but those are the two
medication.
main things that would make my life a little bit easier.
Yeah,
But
know.
no, and that's what I love about, if anyone's interested in the health field and they know they just want to help someone, there are so many different capacities.
Yeah.
There's different skill sets that a nurse utilizes. That are of interest to that a therapist, a physical, occupational, or speech therapist. It's there's something for everyone.
Yeah, but a different skill set, collaboration. We all work as a team. And at Whitehall, we have a really good team. When you need physical therapy, when we need speech therapy, we just call, pick up the phone, and you're there.
And vice versa. I go up and I say, I'd like to work with this patient. Have they received their meds yet? Have they gotten their vital? Can I take them off the unit now? Because I have
Yeah.
to always check with nursing, and
Right,
also
yeah.
because you guys are responsible. We have them for an hour or two down in the gym doing their exercise.
Yes.
Then they go back to the unit, and they go back to the unit to get their meals, to get their hydration,
yes.
manage their self-care, sleep, and visit with their families. And so you guys take the major brunt of responsibility for that person's care.
So
And
we
so-
we kind of we get them back.
Yeah,
So you work them out. But it's actually it's a good thing, because in Whitehall, I've seen a lot of presidents go home, and we have a really good therapy group. Well, with Teresa being our director,
Yes.
she's always in our meetings, so she holds it down for
Yeah,
everyone.
because she's basically the voice of Teresa Markowitz. She's the rehab director over, my boss in a sense, over at Whitehall Boca. And we are constantly in communication with her so that when she's in the
Yes.
team meetings with you guys in all the nursing meetings, she's able to communicate how are the patients progressing along in order to determine what is the best plan of care
Yeah.
and when can we discharge this patient based on how
course.
they're functioning and their safety. So,
And most oftentimes they go home and
oh yeah.
they actually, they come back and they go home and they, with the whole.
And tell me,
Right,
where
that's
is Whitehall located, and what's the phone number if they wanted to reach out to you and ask a nursing question if there's something that a family member has a nursing need? And would your facility, at my facility at the same time, would our facility be able to meet their nursing need?
Yes. Well, Whitehall is located at 7300 Del Prado Circle South, Boca Raton, Florida. It's 33433. I'm still learning where it is. The phone number is 561-392-3000. And we offer long-term care and short-term rehab care from post-operative. We do peg tube feeding, IV therapy. We do wound care. We have a really good wound care team, and we have a group of doctors that comes in. We have a Vora group, which Dr. Aguilar is the main doctor that comes to see the patient
For the
once a
wound
week.
care?
Yes.
And
once
so
a week.
wound care is a nursing specialty that is overseen by the wound care doctor to give the plan of care, but the nurses
We have
on
a
the
wound
floor
care nurse. Yes, we have a specific nurse who sees the delicate wounds.
because there's post-operative surgical wounds as well as there's bed
pressure
sores,
ulcer.
pressure ulcers that that
Need
you need
more
to
attention.
yeah.
Yes, we also we offer right now it's not really, we do respiratory also, so we don't have respiratory in house at the moment, but our nurses are trained to assess
To assess people's respiratory functions and be able to handle if there is a code blue or anything like that.
to reduce a readmission to the hospital. We want to make sure that we do assess them meticulously, and we know what to do in case there's a medical emergency.
Right, and so you're trying to manage the patient's care to prevent them going back to the hospital.
Yes.
And so there's enough skill set in the building between the director of nursing, the assistant director of nursing, the nurse educator, plus the nurses on the unit.
It's the nurses in the unit. They're mainly, they're the first line of defense.
That are communicating with the doctors.
Yes.
Great. So now, tell me if I'm wrong. I know that last year, we've been talking. We started off the beginning of the show talking about community service, volunteering, and really wanting to, communicate, what people do for a living, but also either whether personally or professionally, how are they interacting with the community? Besides the obvious, you're serving the seniors. But is there anything I, want to start asking my guest? Are you involved in the community, or has the community impacted you? Because I know that last year Whitehall did an Alzheimer's walk. Were you part of that?
Yes, I was there. I was a team captain for Whitehall. I helped fundraise money for Boca Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's a really big walk. There was thousands of people there. And it was at Meissner Park Amphitheater in Boca, of course.
And so now, 2017, we got another one coming up.
Yes, it's going to be on Sunday, September 17th, at the same place at Boca Raton Amphitheater, which is in Meissner Park. Yes.
Yeah. And so, was that when you came on to Whitehall? Was that already in place, or is that something that how did we pick the Alzheimer cause? How did that come about?
I attend a lot of networking group in Palm Beach, and there is this group which is we meet. Well, I attend. It's called the I went to Pinion Grill.
Pinion Grill.
Yeah, on a Thursday, and there's this group of people, and I just kind of came on board with them, and
what made you seek a networking group?
Well, I do have a lot of friends who are in healthcare, so
because you're new to the area.
I'm very new.
But yet, I feel like you're very connected.
Well, now I can say a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
I'm impressed by that because you're new to the area, but maybe you sought that out when you first got.
Yes.
So that's an
And
important
it's
message.
And it's a very good fundraising too. We don't realize that Alzheimer's, there is no cure. So if you have a family member or you know someone, like I had a lot of patients who I saw that, they had dementia and ultimately they had Alzheimer's, and it's just sad to see it. So I just
And so
hope to
those
help
those
them.
funds go to raise that cost to help with more research to
Yes.
work on medications that can help, what's the word I want to use to help reduce the effects of that condition, with memory and with
Slow it
function and slow it
down.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that it can be heartbreaking working with it for so long. So the Walk to End Alzheimer's is on September 17th.
Yes.
At Meisner Park, and I know that you now becoming the team captain, and the website to that organization is www.alz.org.
Yes.
And I wanted to just make one more note that I know that we had a recent experience at work with someone that experienced a suicide, and I've had in the last month I've had two different guests with two different organizations, different reasons, and so I just wanted to highlight that the FISB, the Florida Initiative for Suicide Prevention, is having their 5th annual walk coming up May 20th, 2017 at Markham Park. So FISB, they're having their walk for 5K. So to help that's a great cause as well, especially for teen suicide. So thank you for tuning in for Community Connections with Norma G. We will be back next week with a whole new lineup of guests. Have a great week, everyone. And reach out to USA.gov or serve.gov and find an area that you can volunteer in your community. Have a great week, everyone. Bye. You've been listening to Community Connections with Norma G. We will be back next Monday from 5 to 6 p.m. with new guests to share about what's hot, what's new, and what's happening in our community. Did you hear something you liked today on our show? Please contact me, Norma G, at 954-802-2015 or email me at ccnormag@gmail.com. I look forward to helping you expand your business, project, or idea and connect with our community.
The opinion